Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. I'm here making my first YouTube video. It's a response to the Wargamers Anonymous August painting challenge. And the challenge is painting cavalry, so let me show you some of the work I've done over the past month. So the first unit that I've painted in August for this challenge is this unit of 11th century knights. I'm thinking these would either be Normans or Crusaders for the First Crusade, and these are based for the To the Strongest Rules by Simon Miller, which is kind of my favorite ancient rule set. So these are kind of a slow burner project for me. This is the second unit of knights, Norman knights, that I've painted this year, and this is a project. There'll probably be about 5 units of knights in total for the army, plus the infantry and crossbowmen. I'm waiting for the Victrix plastic Norman spearmen to come out, so I'm not in a real rush to finish this army. It's kind of more of a side project army for me. So I'll show you. This is the leader base right here, and in the To the Strongest Rules, there are kind of two sorts of leaders: detached and attached generals, which I think is kind of a nifty idea. But the attached guys have to stick with a unit. They have kind of a bodyguard unit that they have to accompany, and that means they have a little less command and control ability. So yeah, I thought this was a kind of neat little diorama to add to the base. And these are from Footsore Miniatures. And what I've started doing with the To the Strongest stuff is just putting everything on one element base, which I think kind of helps add to the diorama aspect. And since you're dealing with units or elements as the foundation block for the army, I don't think it really makes sense to base them individually, I guess. I mean, I guess there's some benefits and drawbacks to all the different systems, but this kind of element basing is what I've kind of grown to prefer. On my first unit of Normans that I did, I think they ended up with the Normans, the main kind of color on them is the chainmail and the metal. The first unit I did them with the steel helmets and the metal armor and stuff, and they kind of have a tendency to look a little bland. So this unit, I really wanted to add as much color as possible. So I did the red and white striped lances, and since this was the general's bodyguard unit, I wanted to make them stand out too. I did the color on the helmets too, red and white helmets, just to break up all that steel color. And yeah, I think this guy, I was kind of thinking he might be Bohemond of Taranto, possibly, who was a Sicilian Norman. So I did kind of more of a Mediterranean style basing for these guys. Because I was thinking that these might be sort of a First Crusade era army. So that was my first unit of cavalry that I did for this challenge. So now we'll move on to the second unit. So my second unit here is a unit of Pictish or Caledonian or whatever light cavalry. Now these are Footsore Miniatures again, and technically they are for the Dark Ages era. These are actually going to be from my Celtic army, which I was looking for different kind of horsemen to represent light cavalry that had a real Pictish or Caledonian Scottish vibe because I was kind of thinking it would be sort of a Pictish inspired army, and I couldn't really find any cavalry that I really liked from the period, which I was thinking they would be to fight against my Imperial Romans. So I ended up just going with the footsore miniatures because I really like them, even though I think the only thing that would really stand out is the helmets being anachronistic. Everything else I think would have been around a few hundred years earlier. And this is actually the last unit to finish off that army, and most of the horsemen actually are attached with chariots, so maybe I'll show those off sometime. But the units are I kind of wanted to give this portrayal of the chariots dashing in and out between kind of swarms of light cavalry retainers. So most of these horsemen are actually, that I've done so far, are actually stuck on the same bases as the chariots, and you can kind of do that with these big element bases. This is a light cavalry unit, so that's why I only have 3 to the element base here compared to the heavy cavalry where I've got 5 guys stuck on the base. And so here's my final unit that I've done. So these are some Imperial Roman cavalry from Aventine Miniatures. And so to finish my Imperial Roman army now, I've just got another 2 more units of cavalry to do after these guys. And I got like 20 more infantry to finish. So I'll probably actually, the goal is to really try and finish those within the next month. So yeah, I did another attached leader for the Roman cavalry. Mostly the Roman leaders, I usually do them as unattached on a circular base, but I wanted to do an attached leader. They're a little cheaper points wise, and I thought it seemed fitting for the cavalry. And originally this guy was just going to be another trooper on the base, but something about him really stuck out to me, so I decided to promote him up to a leader model. And yeah, these Aventines are really nice. So yep, that's the leader there. And then here is the cavalry unit themselves, and these are really nice. I thought the miniatures themselves, they have tons of detail. Yeah, I've seen you hear a lot of these references to yellow plumes on the Imperial cavalry, so yeah, I wanted to give them the yellow plumes. And then still to do, and well, for these the kind of Pictish cavalry, or Caledonian rather cavalry, and the Romans, I'm thinking they're kind of operating in northern Scotland. It's kind of the theme for this army, so I wanted to do, so I've been doing this kind of rocky basing, which I think it can look pretty dramatic, and it kind of conveys that northern northern environment, I think. So then still in progress over here, I've got the next unit of Roman cavalry, which I just kind of started up on. I usually paint these cavalry 3 at a time. Yeah, so these are kind of Lancer type guys, maybe sent over from the Eastern Empire, or the eastern portions of the Empire, or something like that. And then the final unit is over here, which are, another unit of Guard cavalry. And then the last thing I've been working on, which is kind of a little mini side project, is this World War I stuff. So this is actually I did a quick test figure for the color scheme I was going to use for these World War I Germans. Planning on doing a little World War I skirmish stuff. And I think this will be a good little small project just because the figure count is so small compared to these big ancient armies. So yeah, this was actually the first 20th century era model that I painted. And getting the German gray right, this was kind of a challenge. I'm still not 100% happy with these colors. Yeah, this is going to be more experimentation. I'm going to probably do a video on this in a couple weeks once I've gotten more painted. Yeah, it's tough because a lot of the pictures I've seen, the upper part of the upper tunics are kind of this green-gray color, and I undercoated them with just gray. I'm wondering if I should have actually undercoated them with green and then kind of try to build up the gray on top of that. I might try and do kind of a green glaze over the top of this to try and make it a little more green. The grays I've had a little trouble painting just because, at first I had this guy all the same color as the trousers, but the gray was reading more as kind of blue than gray. So yeah, that's what I've got so far. Hope this video wasn't too bad for my first one, and thanks for watching.